Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, and I do so in the name of His begotten Son, Yahweh Shah, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. This is Soldier Atazawam Ariala from, Sakari. This is my lesson on, understanding, strangers, in the Bible. First and foremost, I want to get on Exodus chapter 12 and start at 19. It's talking about the unleavened bread. 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses. For whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land. Now, so remember this scripture right here, because we're going to talk about that. And let me jump down to verse 43. That's Exodus chapter 12, verse 43. And Yahweh said unto Moses and Aaron, Salakia, this is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof. All right, boom. So in verse 43, we see that this stranger is talking about that this stranger can't eat the Passover. But how you notice in verse 19, it says, read it again, Exodus chapter 12, verse 19. 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses. For whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land. All right, so we see this stranger has to, keep the feast of unleavened bread, even if he's, whether he's a stranger or born in the land. So if he's an Israelite that's somewhere else, that's not born in the land, or it's an Israelite that's born in the land, he has to keep the feast of unleavened bread. But in verse 43, we see that a stranger can't keep the Passover. So right here, we see, that there's two different strangers that it's talking about, Right here, we see that in the heathen concept, when we call people a stranger, we could either mean, it could either mean two things. One is a stranger, like a heathen. And another account we could is an Israelite who's not born in the land. Let's go into the Strong's. To what's the word I'm looking for? Substantiate. However you say that word, but y'all should know what I'm talking about. To further prove the fact. This is Strong's H52 verse 36. The car of foreign alien, foreignness, that which is foreign. Foreignness, foreign gods, alien, foreigner, foreign. Strong's definition, the car, a nay car from H5234, foreign or concretely a foreigner, or abstractly heathendom, alien and strange. And in the modern concept, we should know what we call the people an alien. Basically, we saying that they're basically somebody who's not known in the land. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 60, verse 10. This is Isaiah chapter 60, verse 10. And the sons of, this is kingdom connotation. Isaiah chapter 60, verse 10. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Right, so we right here we see that these strangers, you know, will build up our walls in the kingdom, and we know we can't. This can't be talking about our brethren, you know, because our brethren will be ruling with us in the kingdom. According to the scripture, it says all Israel shall be saved. You know. Let's go to another scripture. Go back. Go to Isaiah chapter 56, verse 6. Also, the sons of the stranger that joined themselves to Yahweh, to serve him, and to love the name of Yahweh, to be his servants, everyone that keepeth the Sabbath from polluting it, and taketh hold of my covenant. Even them will I bring to my holy mountain, and make them joyful in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings, sacrifices, and their sacrifices shall be accepted upon my altar. For my house shall be called a house of prayer for all people. Now, Isaiah chapter 56, verse 6, verse 7 is talking about the heathens learning from us, you know. They're coming to our land, you know, to learn and what, you know, to learn our laws and worship our God. But when they get proof that these heathens will be be making sacrifices in our kingdom. This is Zechariah chapter 14, verse 21. Yet every part in Jerusalem and in Judah shall be holiness unto Yahweh of hosts, and all they that sacrifice shall come and take of them, and seethe therein. And in that day there shall be no more the Canaanite in the house of Yahweh of hosts. All right, so the day will be talking about, you know, the other heathens, except, you know, as we see right here, except for only the Canaanites will be making sacrifices in our kingdom. But all the other heathens, you know, will be making sacrifices in the temple. Go to Hebrews chapter 8, and we'll show that how this is Isaiah 56 verse 6 will be talking about heathens and not us. Because when we in the kingdom, we will be keeping the law, so we won't be able to, we won't be making sacrifices, you know. This is us being brought into the new covenant, so-called new covenant, you know. Or new, you know, so like this is for us to be brought in the new covenant. This is Hebrews chapter 8, verse 10. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith Yahweh. I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, Know Yahweh, for all shall know me, from the least to the greatest. Right, so we were all Israelites, you know, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and the American Indians, you know, according, you know, who are Israelites according to the curses of Deuteronomy chapter 28. You know, we will be keeping the law, statutes, and commandments in the kingdom, but the heathens won't. You know. Let's go to Exodus chapter 12, verse 44. It's Exodus chapter 12, verse 44. But every man's servant that is bought for money, when thou hast circumcised them, then shall he eat thereof. A foreigner. All right. Yeah, verse 44 would be a Hebrew servant. I gotta get that scripture real quick. Just further substantiate that. Because at the time we had Hebrew servants, but it just shows. Hold on, let me. I can. Hold on. Something again. I thought it made two different thought it talked about two different servers on here, but I'll just get to the point. Exodus chapter 21, verse 2. If thou buy a Hebrew servant 6 years, he shall serve, and in the 7th he shall go out free for nothing. So this was Exodus chapter 12. Exodus chapter 12, verse 44 was talking about. Let's go back. So right here we say a Hebrew servant can eat the Passover if he's circumcised, of course, because he had to be circumcised, in order to eat the lamb, to keep the Passover. Verse 45. A foreigner and a hired servant shall not eat thereof. So we see right here, talking about two different servants. One is talking about a Hebrew servant, as we see in Exodus chapter 21, verse 2. We got a Hebrew servant. We have to let him go. A foreign and a hired servant shall not eat of. But this hired servant is talking about the heathen. So we see right here, there's two different people that's talking about two different strangers. This is for the Hebrew servant. This is Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 14. Thou shalt not oppress a hired servant that is poor and needy, whether he be of thy brethren or of thy strangers that are in thy land within thy gates. At his day thou shalt give him his hire. neither shall the sun go down upon it, for he is poor and setteth his heart upon it, lest he cry against thee unto Yahweh, and it be sin unto thee. Leviticus chapter 25, verse 39. Leviticus chapter 25, verse 39. And if thy brother that dwelleth by thee be waxen poor, and be sold unto thee, thou shalt not compel him to serve as a bond servant, but as an hired servant, and as a sojourner he shall be with thee, and shall serve thee unto the year of Jubilee. And then shall he depart from thee, both he and his children with him, and shall return unto his own family, and unto the possession of his fathers shall he return. I think this is scripture right here that I was looking for to show the difference between the Hebrew servant and the heathen slave, pretty much. For they are my servants, which I brought forth out of the land of Egypt. They shall not be sold as bondmen. Thou shalt not rule over him with rigor, but shalt fear thy God. Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids which thou shalt have shall be of the heathen. All right, so if we're gonna have a bondman or a bondmaid, they have to be a heathen, that are round about you. Of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondmaids. All right, so we right here we see a difference between a Hebrew servant and a bond. A Hebrew servant between a bondman and a bondmaid. If you're a Hebrew servant, you basically just I'm paying you. You want to work for me, and I'm paying you for it. But if you're my bondman and bondmaid, pretty much you're my property. Let's go to Exodus chapter 12, verse 48. This is Exodus chapter 12, verse 48. And when a stranger shall sojourn with thee, and will keep the Passover to Yahweh, let all his males be circumcised, and then let him come near and keep it, and he shall be one that is born in the land. For no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. Right. So again, we see right here that if you got a sojourner, if you got a stranger that wants to keep the Passover with us in our land, he has to be circumcised. Because in our land, that's basically that's our law, especially in our land. In order for you to in order for you to keep the Passover in our land, you have to be circumcised. As we see right here, that would be citizenship. If you wanted to be a citizen, and say in China, you have to get a citizenship there. You have to keep the laws that's in China, same way as in America. You have to keep the laws in America. You have to keep the laws in America. I'm reading it again. Exodus chapter 12, verse 48. And when the stranger shall join with thee, and will keep the Passover to Yahweh, let all his males be circumcised, and then let him come near and keep it. And he shall be as one that is born in the land. For no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. Right. Leviticus chapter 25, verse 35. And if thy brother be waxing poor, and falling in decay with thee, then thou shalt relieve him, yea, though he be a stranger or a sojourner, that he may live with thee. Right? So even if you got a brother out there that, that's not in the, an Israelite, out there that lives somewhere else, especially during these times, so like, yeah, even if you got a brother that's living somewhere else, he's still your brother regardless, He may be a say I got a cousin who lives in Atlanta or in North Carolina, and I go there, he still has to look at me as, his family, regardless on me not being, say a quote unquote citizen where he lives, in Atlanta or on North Carolina, Take thou no usury of him or increase, but fear thy God, that thy brother may live with thee. Right? You still got to treat him as a brother, even though he's, a foreigner in your land. Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 19. And this was a precept for Leviticus chapter 25, verse 36. Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 19. Thou shalt not lend upon usury to thy brother, usury of money, usury of victuals, usury of anything that is lent upon usury. Unto a stranger thou mayest lend upon usury. And now let me read that again. Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 19. Thou shalt not lend upon usury to thy brother. So we can't lend upon usury to our brother, We can't I'm getting stuck. I'm trying to think on how to say it. Let's log you. Thou shalt not lend upon usury to thy brother, usury of money, usury of victuals, usury of anything that is lent upon usury. All right, so if I give a brother some money, I can't charge him extra. When he if I want him to give that back, I can't charge him extra. I can't do nothing like that. Or if he give me, or if I give him a TV, he must give me something. Unto a stranger thou mayest lend upon usury. See, I can do that to a heathen, but to a brother thou shalt not lend upon usury, that Yahweh thy God may bless thee in all that thou seest thy hand to, in the land whether thou goest to possess it. And this is a commandment, that our brothers and sisters need to keep. I just want to make that a side note, because if we keep this, we won't hate each other so much, because you're gonna have brothers out there that gonna lend a brother something and he had to charge, and he charged a brother extra if he's late on paying him back or whatever, and that's gonna cause that brother to hate him, and what's going we can lead into some conflict, conflict that doesn't need to be to be led to. That's just a bit side note. Go to Leviticus chapter 19, verse 17. Leviticus chapter 19, verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer sin upon him. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am Yahweh. And I just want to bring this out to show that our neighbors will be our brothers, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. We can't hate nor bear any grudge against them, We got to love them as we love ourselves. But with heathen shit, you can say, fuck them, pretty much. You say fuck a heathen, don't, lend upon usury on the heathen, but to your brothers and sisters, don't do that. And go to Psalm of David, to get an account of an Israelite, from the tribe of Judah, according to First Corinthians chapter 2, verse 3, and jump down to 15. The son of David, who was the youngest son of Jesse, came from the tribe of Judah. Psalm 69, verse 8. I became a stranger unto my brethren, and an alien unto my mother's children. All right, so we see right here that David, said he became a stranger, and this is dealing with David was feeling low, was weeping because his brothers was out to get him. And that his brothers, this is talking about his brothers out to get him, is when you go to verse 12, they sit in the gate speak against Slakia. Psalm 69, verse 12. They that sit in the gate speak against me, and I was the song of the drunkards. And the people, who sits in the gate will be judges. And according to Deuteronomy, verse 16, we can only the judges could be of our people. Deuteronomy chapter 16, verse 18. Judges and officers shalt thou make thee in all thy gates, which Yahweh thy God giveth thee throughout thy tribes, and they shall judge the people with just judgment. All right, so the only people who are judges in our gates, is our people of our tribes. Just a little quick side note. But yeah, we see David, the son of Jesse, the youngest son of Jesse from the tribe of Judah. He said he became, I'll read it again, Psalm chapter 69, verse 8. I became a stranger unto my brethren, and an alien unto my mother's children. Right? He said he became a stranger unto his brother, Let's go to Acts. Go to my last scripture, which is Acts, verse 2. This is Acts chapter 2, verse 5. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven. Jump to I got the right one, did I? Oh yeah, come on. Jump to verse 10. Phrygia and Pamphylia in Egypt, and in the parts of Libya out about Cyrene, and strangers of Rome, Jews and proselytes. Right, so basically just getting out getting this, to show that we were known as strangers in these parts where we was at. So like I just read this again. Acts chapter 2 verse 5. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men, out of every nation under heaven. Now when this was noised abroad, the multitude came together and were confounded, because they that every man heard them speak in his own language. Right, every man that came out these different cities, was speaking their own language, which will make you a stranger. And they were all amazed and marveled, saying one to another, Behold, are not all these which spake Galileans? And how hear we every man in our own tongue, wherein we were born? Parthians and Medes and Elamites, and the dwellers in Mesopotamia, and in Judea, and Cappadocia, and Pontus, and Asia, Phrygia, and Pamphylia, and Egypt, and in the parts of Libya about Cyrene, and strangers of Rome, Jews and proselytes. All right, all right. So we see right here that we were basically looking at ourselves as strangers in these days too. Because we see right here, we were speaking. They were speaking. These Jews were speaking different languages. Wherever they, the language on the cities they were scattered at. And of course, you'll look at somebody as a stranger if you're not speaking their language. You're looking at them like, where you from? Where you from? You speaking this language that I don't know. Where are you from? Yeah. I hope it was edifying. And with that, I want to say shalom.